Hello, and welcome back to Iron Butterfly Podcast. My name is Megan Jaffer.
And I'm Katie Hopkins, and we'll be your hosts.
We created Iron Butterfly Podcast in honor of Eloise Page, the original Iron Butterfly. And on this very special season, we are going inside our first documentary feature film titled The Power We Hold: Stories from Women Spies. This film features 10 of the most powerful women you've never heard of, and this season, we'll get up close and personal with each of them. We hope you find their stories as powerful as we do.
Well, I want to pull the thread on riding the cable because I think most people, when they think about a case officer, they're like, it's only James Bond, right? It's all the cool stuff and drinking martinis and flying private jets and dressing in fancy suits.
For what it's worth, I only flew on a private jet maybe twice.
Okay.
For over
you
a
heard it
decade.
here. You heard it here.
Yeah. I was the person.
I bet those 2 times were pretty epic, though.
Yeah, they were epic, but it was usually me sitting in economy in sweats and being like, I wish the government would
pony up
and
get me at least.
But I mean, eventually you fly so much you can upgrade yourself. But yeah.
But I guess my point is you have to do a lot of writing too.
A lot of writing.
You know, it's not just all this action and, intrigue.
Everything you do, you have to write an argument for why you should be able to do it, what you're going to do, all the, not all the contingencies because that would be impossible, but generally some of the contingencies. And then when you do it, you have to come back and you have to write it all up. That's just the operation side. Then if you actually meet someone of value in terms of they have information that the U.S. government would want, you have to write a separate, what's called intelligence report that you submit. You have to write other reports about how you basically worked your tradecraft to make that meeting happen. There is so much writing involved. And arguing and verbal jujitsu and clashes with headquarters and trying to explain to people who aren't in that scenario and can't fathom why you would do these things, why you should be able to do what you want to do.
I have kind of a weird question, but I've always wondered this. Like, when you're, meeting with a source, trying to get information, how do you remember, like, everything that they are saying? Like, when you're...
I don't. A few times I would go to the bathroom, and if it were really important, like I would
write it down
and write it down in the bathroom. But when you're documenting every meeting you have, you're going to read that. You're going to read your old meeting notes before you go to the next meeting.
Right.
And then when you're juggling, a lot of cases all at once, it can get a little confusing, but not really because when you're meeting someone, you generally know they're not the other person. I've never confused stories.
Yeah. And what is it like? So you, at this point, you're walking into the dentist's office. You're a young, white, blonde female, right?
With blue eyes.
With blue eyes. How hard is it to befriend older Middle Eastern men?
Not hard at all. Come on.
I was like, are you really asking this question?
Yeah. It's pretty simple. And it's not just Middle Eastern men.
It's like
all men. Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you found then, I'm just connecting the dots, but I'm asking you leading questions, but you found the fact that you were female to be advantageous to you.
Extremely. Yeah.
How so?
Most people look at me and don't think I'm going to kill them, and I'm not. And I'm fairly approachable. At least if I turn it on and I want to be. And yeah, so it's not that difficult to engage in conversation. Where it gets hard is when you start pushing them to cross lines, or when they know and they've been briefed and they know that you're probably a CIA officer sent to approach them. And the best you can do is plant some seeds and see where those seeds grow and lead to. Maybe it's not me, maybe it's another officer 10 years down the road. But to give a very positive perception and experience of what that interaction with a U.S. government official was like,
Mm-hmm.
and that it was incredibly professional and really well thought out, well done in a way that makes them feel like, wow, they really thought through my safety and how they did this.
How often did you have to draw a boundary with a source?
Periodically, yeah. I would say actually fairly frequently. I mean, you're meeting these sources in hotel rooms and dark alleyways, and I mean, it is very similar to prostitution. If you were to just take a step back and like look at a picture of, that video footage was both of you walking in a room together. Or actually, you don't do it that way, but yeah. So I think it is natural that a lot of the male sources would, have some inclinations, and you kind of have to course correct a little bit and do it in a way that they don't feel embarrassed.
Mm,
I think that's so key.
totally.
You've said that before, do it in a way where they're not embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever told Laura what your dream job is in the IC?
I want to hear it.
You tell her.
No, you tell. It's your dream
No,
job.
why, put me on the spot. Oh my God.
What's it called?
Where you just make someone disappear. Like,
You make someone disappear.
yeah, like where they,
I mean, I don't know that that's a job.
no, like when someone goes into the airport and then
A
they just
disguise officer?
they
You
just
No,
don't
no.
come back out of the
No,
airport.
You mean
not
like
to-
you
not
rendition?
disappear.
You want to be a
rendition,
rendition?
rendition.
You want to rendition people?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
behind that?
I don't
Megan?
know. I don't know.
That's some deep,
I know.
internal searching there.
I'd rather not do the searching.
And this is the moment where Laura starts asking
So
the
do
question.
you imagine like they're in jumpsuits, like orange jumpsuits, and you're putting them on a flight? Wait,
No, I imagine that they're getting on a flight to go wherever to work or fly home, and I am in there's some door that's at the airport that leads to a stairwell, and I'm at that door, and I gently
Guide them along.
guide them along
do you
until.
think they would go gently?
Well, in the
into
beginning,
doorway
yes.
with you?
No, if I was, oh, sir, there's this.
Sure, you would come up with a
Yeah,
a
there's
plausible
there's
reason.
a shortcut or whatever. We're going to take you this way. You've been upgraded,
You've really thought about this.
and then after that door shuts, then yes, he's more physically
detained.
Yes.
And
by
restrained.
by you?
By you?
Well,
Yeah,
no,
are you
no,
the person putting
I mean,
the-
I'm one of them. I'm not the only person.
Do you have zip ties at home?
I do have zip ties at home. I do have zip ties in different colors.
Hot pink zip ties.
Wow.
The nuclear scientist disappears with hot pink zip ties.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So many
we
ways could
digress.
continue on with this.
We digress.
You know what I think is so funny about this is that whenever I try to get Megan to act doing something, like to play a part or play a role, she's like physically incapable of doing it.
Mhm.
And I just love the idea of you thinking that you could walk up in a foreign country to someone and play a part like, "Oh, sir, please come this way."
I could. I think I could. Let's practice one day.
Okay.
Just some random
Might
guy.
get disappeared.
Okay, so Laura, back to
to you.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So you talked about exfiltrations.
Mhm.
I would love to hear if you have any stories or vignettes that come to mind about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many. When you're basically telling someone they have to leave everything they know, their home, their family, the life that they've built for themselves. And there are a lot of different reasons why that might be the case. But often you're going to be met with complete shock and denial and not wanting to cooperate. So, just sitting in front of a lady and breaking the news to her that you need to leave your country in 48 hours, and here's exactly how you're going to do it. Here's all the things you need to consider. Otherwise, you're going to be arrested and you might be executed, and your son is going to grow up without a mom. I mean, those are very hard conversations to have with people, and they have to be done obviously with a lot of care, but you don't always have a lot of time either. You're trying to, you're racing
Working against the
time.
clock.
Yeah, you're working against the clock. So, yeah.
So that's in a case where you're telling them, you're going to them and saying, you have 48 hours. This is what has to happen. Is there ever a case where they're asking for?
Absolutely. A number of assets, ultimately, when you think about who we recruit and why we recruit them, it's because they hold positions of power in some of the worst regimes in the world. And a number of them are doing it because they don't agree and they don't like the trajectory of their country. They want to be somewhere else. They want their family to be somewhere else. So, yeah, there's a lot of folks who ultimately want to do their time and then hopefully resettle somewhere else, preferably in the United States.
Do they get, and I don't know if you can even answer this, but do they get to choose, or do?
It depends. That's the CIA ops answer.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the private jets.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the people that these belonged to, I mean, you just mentioned, like, you're working for these people who are your sources are working for these regimes that are in very dangerous areas of the world, right? With powerful leadership that probably have a lot of money, a lot of resources, and probably not the same moral compass that you have. Like, how do you navigate that when you know that you are working with someone that might not be a great person, but you need to work with them for the security of the United States?
Yeah. What's the ultimate mission? I'm not there to change their mind, their worldview. I'm there to get information. So you just can't forget the North Star of why you're there. And I think that's one thing that case officers in particular have to be okay with. You have to be okay with sitting down with someone who, perhaps really hates you, and you might hate them in terms of, just completely misaligned values, ways that they would treat women or kids or whatnot. And you just have to have your own sort of ethical hierarchy. What is the most important thing in this situation? I'm not going to change the fact that he's going to go home and beat the shit out of his wife tonight. But I might change the fact that I'm going to get some really good information that helps us work against this regime, that potentially, averts an attack or changes something for some number of people that's a greater good than what this guy does in his time at home. It doesn't mean you like it, but if you feel like there's a bigger reason you're doing it, then it feels, and it is totally worth it.
And what do you think your sources thought about you?
That's a good question. I mean, I think they were probably intrigued for the most part. I mean, it's not often that they get to sit down with a woman alone, because a lot of my sources were from the Middle East. So just to have the opportunity to sit with an American lady who's also a U.S. government official and have her undivided attention, I think that was intriguing for them. And, I tried to be very warm, though, I don't know, sometimes people tell me I'm not that way, and that I'm a little intimidating. So maybe they were a little intimidated. I don't know. But, I think I generally felt that they really enjoyed our time together, and I enjoyed my time with them too. Even for the ones that I disagreed with in a lot of different ways. Like, it's fascinating to sit down with someone and just be in this crazy scenario where what you're doing is completely illegal, but also extremely exciting and thrilling.
What I find fascinating, and I just thought about it right now, is, I think about, when you see famous people, right? You see them on the big screen, and then you encounter them in real life, and you're like, oh, like he's like a normal guy, and he wears normal clothes, and he's standing in front of me. But when he's on the big screen, he's like this
Yeah.
thing. And so I'm imagining the way most people think about the situations that you are in, right, are like, okay, there are these warlords and these terrorists, and they look like this certain way and they act like this certain way, and they're yelling at you, or they're like all these things. But in reality, they're probably just men
Yeah.
that, and I don't know if there were some women too, but just sitting across from you, talking to you in normal conversation.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of
It's a
wild.
really interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were some folks that like, no, that's wow, that's the Taliban. Like that's what I thought the Taliban was,
And that's what it is.
That's what it was in the meeting. And then there were others. You're like, oh wow, this is not like, yeah, you're technically part of a designated terrorist organization, but yeah, you're coming in and you're pretty much suit
Like Gucci
and,
loafers or
yeah,
something.
And we're talking about the latte that you ordered this morning and your kids and what school is like for your kids. I mean, it's pretty fascinating at times. I mean, people are just people usually at the end of the day, though some of these people might in any other scenario just slash your neck.
Right.
That's so crazy.
I know.
What percentage, roughly, of the people that you were recruiting or sourcing, or were sources, were male versus female?
Predominantly male, because men hold the positions of power and influence in the world for the most part that we would want access to.
If they were female, how do you feel, or do you feel at all, your approach would have changed?
Oh, completely. I mean, do you handle men the way you handle women?
This is such an interesting question. I've
Yeah.
never thought about it. Do you think it would be harder if they were women?
Probably. Yeah.
I actually think it would. It'd be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's ponder that.
Yeah, we're all like,
I
let's
know.
take a little pause and think about that. So tell us, you ultimately decided to leave.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind that?
I mean, there's a number of different reasons that all sort of flowed in together at the end, but ultimately just seeing how fast China is advancing in some of the technologies that I think are going to be critical to the future of who dominates the world, and just thinking the U.S. government isn't the place to really push the technology needle, that it's the private sector, in my view. So jumped out, joined a technology company, and still doing that ever since the last 4-5 years.
So it's been 4 or 5 years, and that's when we first met you. It was kind of wild because we met you right after you came out.
Yeah.
We didn't know each
I was
other.
a deer in headlights at that point.
Yeah.
No, it was so kind of you to come. I know it was through a recommendation. Someone recommended our meetings, and so it was Carmen, right?
It was. Yeah. Carmen is a brilliant matchmaker.
She is a brilliant matchmaker. But now that it's been 4 or 5 years, how do you look back at your time? Like, and I don't mean, like, was it good or was it bad? But do you look back and think, holy shit, I did all of that? Or like, wow, I did move the needle in ways that it should be moved, like, how do you think about it?
I feel insanely privileged to have been in that position where I was the person in the room making some of the decisions and doing some of the things that I was able to do. I feel really fortunate. And yeah, I still work on the National Security Mission. So that that's good. But I will never have the same thrill of bumping a target
Mm-hmm.
in an airport or, in a back alley. And it just, you can't really replace that with
Yeah.
something else. But, there's a time and place for everything.
Right.
How was this, like, the psychological transition for you from being in an environment, which I imagine is you're always looking over your shoulder?
Yeah. I'm
To-
hypervigilant still.
You are.
Yeah. There's a hypervigilance just because you know how dangerous the world is, not because you think in every moment that something's going to happen to you. And that doesn't necessarily leave you. But I also think that there's just something to being, a mom and in a country where gun violence is what it is and perimenopause,
Yeah.
as you mentioned. There's all these things that factor into, why we would be more vigilant in some periods of our life than
Yeah.
others. But I think I probably have a much higher level than most people.
And what is it like raising a child, knowing what you know and seeing what you've seen
That's a good
around
question.
the world?
Yeah, I want him to be a good human. And he is. He started out as a good human. And hopefully he'll stay that way. And go make his own mark and hopefully make the world a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want him to go fight the bad guys too if he came and said, "Mom"?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Now, my wife would disagree with me.
She was like, "Hold on a second."
No, we already have conversations. I'm like telling him about the military. I'm explaining different branches. And she's like, why are you telling him these things? And he's like, I want to be in the military. And I'm like, that's great.
That's
great,
great.
honey.
Yeah.
It's like, you should be in the SEALs.
Yeah.
Let me show you videos of speedboats and how they operate. You're going to love it. And then she's in the corner like, why are you doing this?
She's like, "My baby." Yeah. Oh my God.
So tell us about your wife. What's your wife like?
She's awesome. She is extremely supportive of my crazy life. And we met when I was still there, and she went on a tour with me overseas. And, she definitely put up with a lot because there were times where I'd just be gone and she wouldn't hear from me. And I think that's hard. I think it would be hard for anyone. So
I think what people don't realize is, we talk a lot about military spouses, right? Because that's people know about them. There's lots
Yeah.
of them. They see them go on tours, and they don't realize that, in the intelligence community, there's something very similar, if
Yeah.
you're married to a case officer.
yeah.
And sometimes they get to go with you, sometimes they don't.
Right.
They don't get to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's important to point
Yeah.
that out, I think.
Yeah, I will say she knew a lot of what I was doing because just like any couple, I come home and I'm like, well, let me tell you what happened today at the office. And there's so much you can describe without talking about classified information.
Right.
So she knew quite a bit of drama. And then, sometimes she could travel with me and do stuff with me. So I've definitely taken her out on some operational acts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we just for a second talk about dating as a case officer?
Wait, can we? I want to go there, but I just want to respond to what she just said.
Okay.
Because that requires a whole hell of a lot of trust. Because if I would never go on any mission with my husband ever
I love
in my
that you
life.
literally backtracked us to say that.
He's going to be so pissed. But yeah.
Jamil, I tried to save you. I tried to go right off the topic, and she brought us back.
But I just have to say, there's a lot of trust there. There's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you went on an op with Jamil?
I would end up taking over. That's what would happen.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Finish your.
Anyways. Okay, so dating as a case officer.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? Like how I just imagine it must be difficult in the early stage of a relationship to like talk about what you do, and then at what point are you honest about what you do, and how honest can you be about what you do? Like what was your experience like with that?
I think you can be mostly honest. You can be follow the rules, so to speak, in terms of not revealing your cover or whatnot, at least the CIA rules, while still not being misleading. So, I mean, my wife, when we first met, I'm pretty sure within like the first date, she's like, "You must work at the agency." I'm like, "Oh, well, what makes you say that?" And she's like, "Well, you don't really, you don't strike me as a person with like a major social media profile. You just, all these things that I told her about my job." She was like, "Gotcha."
Yeah.
And so eventually, at some point, not long thereafter, I confirmed it.
And she was on board. She was like, "Yeah, let's
she loved
do some
Alias.
joint ops."
She loved it.
She's like, "I think you're like what's the girl's name? Sydney Bristow or something."
I
don't
just
know.
think Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer,
but I
yeah,
mean her
whatever.
character.
Anyway,
yeah.
she was like, "It's like Alias," and I'm like, I wish. Some aspects are like Alias, few, but some.
Not the part where you get cloned.
I didn't know that happened.
I only remember that because that's
I never
when my
watched it,
mom.
so.
That's when my mom made me stop watching.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't really watch. I can't watch any of the.
I was gonna
espionage
say,
shows.
I'm sure that it's
just
like
so
aggravating.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so aggravating. I can't even last like 10 minutes.
Yeah. What is the most aggravating about it for you?
Oh, it's just completely like bullshit. I mean, like in the opening scene, you've got people in the U.S. shooting U.S. citizens and fleeing scenes, and like they're crossing law enforcement with intelligence operations, and it just like it would never happen that way.
How about Jack Ryan getting picked up in a helicopter from his engagement party to go straight to CIA? Have you been picked up in a helicopter and rushed to headquarters?
Not from an engagement party. I have been picked up in a helicopter, but not in an exit like that. I mean, that would be the best Irish goodbye ever.
Yeah, that
I
really
wish that
would.
happened to me.
Yeah,
That'd be a great story.
It'd be a great story.
it really would.
Hollywood.
All right, Laura, tell us what you do for fun.
I work a lot, to be honest.
Is it fun?
Yeah. I mean, I define a lot of my identity by my work. And yeah, I'm helping hopefully bring a new energy source to the world. So it's pretty fun.
What does that look like for you? Like, what are you doing now? What does your day-to-day look like?
Figuring out how to get a lot of people on the same page to fund the next great leap in technology. It's not easy, but I think it's very worthwhile and meaningful. So I work in fusion energy. And yeah, I think the technology itself could be the most consequential technology to humankind ever if we can pull it off. So it's exciting. That's fun. I mean, I also read. I watch movies periodically.
You
Sometimes
travel.
TV. I travel. Usually it's for work, and then I tack on like I'll go to like fun restaurants or see things when I travel. Recently was in Thailand. Loved it.
Where in your travels, both, and it could be when you were for work or for pleasure, what was your favorite place you've ever been?
That's such a good question.
Well, I could define favorite in different
Ways,
ways,
yeah.
I guess, but Bhutan was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not see that coming.
Yeah.
Why did you choose there?
Just it's a place that's not as visited by people, and there are just some really just beautiful vistas of like almost like untouched valleys that just gorgeous. Flying in, it's one of the harder airports to land in, and the pilots have to be specially certified. They have to like bank the wings so they don't hit the mountain coming in. I have a fear of flying too, so it was a whole thing for me to even fly in there. But yeah, it's just amazing. People were super nice. The food is good. It's like momos, and yeah, loved it.
That's great.
That is.
Well, this has been pretty awesome. I mean, it's always exciting to chat with you. I think, I mean, I know you know this. We're lucky enough to know you. We're lucky enough to have spent time with you. Most people in America don't get to meet a case officer in real life. IRL, like the young kids say.
IRL. Wow, look at you.
See? I'm learning social media
It is.
slang.
It's
And so the fact that you're willing to do this and to just chat about what it's like, and you've done it with us quite a few times, we are always and forever thankful. And I hope you know that. And I know we will continue to tell you, and you'll probably get sick of us telling you. But it really, really means a whole ton to us. But I think it also is pretty cool for people to just to know what it's really like, and not just what Hollywood says it is.
Yeah. Well, I think you all are really shedding light on a potential trajectory of life that some other young girl could go into. And I would say to any young girl, you could go be a case officer. Like, it's really fun. You get to see the world. You get to do amazing things. So consider it.
Out with Annie Oakley, in with Laura Thomas.
Yes. Yes. So I don't think we told you this, so surprise. We're going to ask you the codename question again.
Okay.
You get the chance to keep your old codename or change it if you prefer. So everyone knows that at the end of each episode, we ask, in keeping with our name of our podcast, Iron Butterfly, which was Eloise Page's codename. If you could give yourself one, which I know you've had many, but if you could give yourself one, what would it be and why?
Yeah. Well, I'm a fairly traditional person, so I'll stick with the one that I already have, which is Firefly.
Love it.
And yeah, it's really the name my wife came up with before the first Iron Butterfly podcast that I had with you all. And I appreciate alliteration, so I like Firefly.
It's very nice. It rolls right off the
so,
tongue.
Flies around at night and lights up the dark. It's a good visual. I like it.
How do you feel like you have done that? Why does that encapsulate you?
I mean, I've operated a lot in the dark, and I don't know that I've necessarily lit up the dark, so to speak. But in fact, I was always trying to stay black and dark in terms of operations. But I think there are definitely some people that are living not in terrible situations. And I just feel really privileged that I was able to help play a role there. So maybe that's my little light that I carry around.
I think that's pretty big.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, we love you, and thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
This was really fun.
It was great. Thanks.
Look forward to the book.
Oh my gosh.
Or the movie.
Or the movie. Or both.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to a special episode of Iron Butterfly Podcast, which ventures inside the world of our documentary, The Power We Hold, Stories from Women Spies. We might be coming to a film festival near you. To follow along on our journey, follow us on YouTube or Instagram, or visit our website at www.ironbutterflymedia.com. And if you like the show, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Stay fierce, and we'll talk next time.